Oh, I knew it. He hates PRX. He's the #1 PRX hater. And hello, YouTube. Welcome back to another week of VCT. It just doesn't ever stop. And we just wrapped up the Swiss stage of Masters Shanghai, absolutely delivering. It's crazy. And hopefully this will just now be the norm for VCT moving forward, because we had Madrid, which really delivered. And then personally, I think Pacific still delivered. It was just much wackier than I thought it would be. And then Shanghai, I think, is delivering, I would say, slightly above my expectations. I think after Madrid, my expectations were pretty high. But we've had some great games, some muddy games, but just a great balance of like hype, excitement, highlights, you know, stratting, anti-stratting, etc., etc., etc. So, with all that said, now we are down to just 8 teams. So, 4 teams have been eliminated from the Swiss stage, and now we get to finally see the first seeds of each region. And they did the draw yesterday. They had, whichever representatives. It seems like all teams sent their coaches and managers. I just want to say before we jump into the Pickems, I think Riot did a pretty good job with the whole opponent selection show, I guess we'll call it. All right. I was a little worried. Trust me, it could have been like way more boring or just not good, but I thought it was pretty well done. Now let's jump in. Let's take a look at what the bracket looks like and go through this absolute banger of a bracket. Okay. All right. So in case you missed the opponent selection, PRX got the first random draw, so they went ahead and selected G2. I believe it was 100 Thieves next, yeah? 100 Thieves picked Foot, and then we had EDG picking Team Heretics, although I think the Chinese fans all wanted EDG to pick GENG. Everyone's avoiding GENG, and that somehow left Fnatic with GENG. I mean, just nutty. Down the line, PRX versus G2. We're just going to go ahead. It's PRX, all right? Listen, PRX is looking like they're here to kind of redefine their peaks, quite frankly. I don't know if they've quite reached a new peak, but I would say towards the end of Pacific Stage 1, they really seem to find a new direction that they wanted to continue moving forward in. Obviously, the players are the same as last year. GENG, yeah, sure. You know, he said he needs more time to get used to it, but I think that's a lie. He's completely fine. He's used to it back. He's back in the flow. You know, they can play the Sage on certain maps. Sage is being played not just by them anyway, so it's not even like the craziest comp anyway. They're bringing out the breaches. It's looking great. Just the team looks good. And then I just want to give this shout out because I need every chance I get. Mindfreak's looking great too. Again, I mean, yes, like a slightly weaker performance in the grand finals of stage 1, but overall, Mindfreak was huge for the first part of the year for PRX. I've said it several times on cast, he looks like he's right back in like champions form, Masters Copenhagen form. So like that's exciting. Like all 5 players are fragging out. They're looking great. Does that mean G2's weak? No, but again, G2 is like a very honest Valorant team. They play very honest Valorant. They play good Valorant, but they play very honest Valorant, and PRX hates honest Valorant. PRX just takes honest Valorant and rips it to shred. You know what I mean? PRX is that guy in the Korean drama that runs up to the guy who's always getting, first in all the tests and just rips up all his notes and textbooks and tells him that that's not going to help him in life. That's PRX. And they're probably going to do that to G2. So that's that. EDG versus Team Heretics. Oh, Heretics. I mean, first of all, I'm just going to pick it first. But I don't even think this is necessarily any disrespect to Heretics, just because I think them getting to playoffs with the role swaps and Patty Tech coming back in and not having enough scrim days, etc., is already very impressive, right? I think it's already very impressive. Not because, again, they're weak players, but just like no one else had to deal with that, and they did, and they still made it through. So, yeah, it's just the reason I'm hesitating is because Heretics looked really good at times against FPX. I mean, first of all, Woot looked insane. But also, like, Boo had so many outplays and so many outreads. Like, Boo played a really good IGL and just really smart Valorant that day when they knocked out FPX. It's not out of the question. I think this one's a tough one, honestly. Like, if Heretics, and now that they're going to have more time, like, Heretics probably just, technically, I mean, actually, maybe it's not the craziest thing, because Heretics should just get better now, right? Because you have a couple days break, and I believe these matches are on Friday, so they even have an extra day. So if anything, this can only be better for Heretics. But like, it's EDG, Kong Kong's back on the op. They've been looking good. It's hard to count out EDG in the first round. But out of all, I think this is the hardest to call, just because it's like, no matter who you favor, it's not at all shocking if the other team wins it. Like, for instance, just a sneak peek spoiler, I think Fnatic versus GENG is pretty hard to call as well, but I think that's just hard to call because I think it's going to be just a really strong matchup. But EDG Team Heretics, there's some question marks here, right? There's basically just not enough data for the current Heretics. Like, yeah, I'm glad Kong Kong's back, but Woot's so insane. To me, if it was just Woot doing highlights and they were just setting up Woot for success, which, by the way, that's great, and they're already doing that. But if it was just that, I think I would be very confident in my EDG pick. But, dude, the way Boo was calling and making certain individual decisions against FPX. Oh. But they barely beat FPX, and we know EDG's a stronger team. Is EDG a stronger team, though? I mean, I don't know. I don't know, chat. Maybe Heretics is just a stronger team. Maybe Heretics is just going to win Shanghai, and we'll never actually know if FPX would have been stronger than EDG at Masters Shanghai. Who knows? No, but I think you have to go with EDG. Listen, I am not going to be shocked at all if Heretics wins. It's not going to be like oh my gosh, I can't believe they did it. But I think I'm going to go with EDG. 100 Thieves versus Foot Esports. Classic. America's versus EMEA matchup. It's 100 Thieves. Foot. I rated Foot very highly, but I also rated 100 Thieves as the #1 team coming into Shanghai. So it's not even about that. This is nothing. Again, like, ratings are all relevant. I don't know why I keep having to find myself seeing disclaimers. It's so silly. Anyway. Foot strong. I mean, first of all, Craxus seemingly getting back in form here in Shanghai, I think is very promising. And then Ada Captain was firing as well, but against Lev. But at the end of the day, I think 100 Thieves, they're very good at reading their opponents. They have good prep. They're very adaptable. And again, like, 100 Thieves plays so much to the comfort of their players, at which point it's not like they're lacking in firepower. So I think 100 Thieves has to win this. Do I have to pick this one? Like, can we just do the rest of the bracket with hypotheticals and just, like, leave this one blank? Fnatic versus GENG. Fnatic versus GENG. I don't even know, man. Yeah, I mean, first of all, I think I said this when Fnatic. Well, so first of all, Fnatic didn't have a choice. They were the last one, so that GENG was left, so they had to pick GENG. Now, I actually think this is a matchup where, in terms of style, both of them look at each other and they're like, not counting the player names, right? If you just erased all the player names from the VODs and you gave them a bunch of VODs of each other, of all the teams, I feel like both of these teams would look at each other's style and be like, yeah, we could play against that, right? I feel like stylistically, neither one's going in being like, oh, that's scary. I mean, maybe Fnatic a bit more, but then you remember what your roster looks like on Fnatic, and I don't think stylistically either team is, like, scared or worried or think you have to, like, throw a curveball to win. But, like, Charon's playing back in form. You know, Meteor's playing back in form. I gotta give it to GENG, man. I gotta give it to GENG. Listen, I wasn't that big on Fnatic coming in. Like, I know they won even with Leo about to collapse. Like, Leo's the GOAT by far, but I gotta give it to GENG. Fnatic's gonna have such good reads on GENG though. And GENG is not exactly the hardest team to read. That's not the hardest part about playing against GENG. So we'll see. But I think GENG will be prepared for that. I think GENG will know that Fnatic's going to have a pretty hard read on them, and they should adjust. They will. All right? They're the new Korean kings, undoubtedly, so they will. Let's go with lower round first. G2 versus Heretics. Oh, this one I do feel like whoever I pick, I'm disrespecting them. I think I got to give it to G2. I mean, listen, there's the argument that Heretics would only get better as time goes on because they would have more time. But I think this is where the buck stops. It is a rematch. That is also true. And Heretics is warming up. Man, I just wish Icy was like just a tad bit louder. I think that would make my G2 Preds so much easier. And I'm not saying that like he's holding the team back per se, but like in the current meta and overall ecosystem, not having a duelist who like pops off consistently enough for people to always recognize that as a threat is rough. It's rough, especially when you're going up against another team where the dude is currently trying to set records across the board. Nah, we go with Heretics. I think we go with Heretics. Nope, I'm going with Heretics. I'm going with Heretics. As time goes on, they're only going to get stronger. I mean, G2 has a really strong mental too. This one, to me, this one feels a little 50-50, probably again. But yeah, I'm going with Heretics on this one. Foot versus Fnatic. I mean, Foot looks like they're getting back in form. But I think after losing to 100 Thieves, I think Fnatic. I also think stylistically Fnatic should win that, even if I think overall Foot might be stronger in the current ecosystem or meta. It's just hard. It's just hard to have Fnatic be eliminated so early, you know? All right. Now we move on. PaperX versus EDG. This is just a banger, but dude, PaperX is so strong right now. They're just so strong. They're just too strong. I mean, listen, again, Kong's opping again, but so is something. Something's opping all the time. I mean, dude, and like, I mean, no, it's PaperX. Do I need to explain myself? No, I don't need to explain this every time PaperX plays, right? Like, they're just really strong. They're just really strong. And again, I think they're just gonna, no, PaperX for sure. PaperX for sure here. I'm sorry for EDG. You're getting knocked back down. 100 Thieves versus GENG. Now, I think 100 Thieves is the hardest matchup for GENG. Yeah, stylistically, it should be the hardest matchup, but if for some reason 100 Thieves get the wrong reads, then I think GENG's style absolutely would crush him, but I guess you could say that about anybody. I think 100 Thieves takes it. Honestly. I think 100 Thieves takes it. I think they are gonna, like, no matter how much you're VOD reviewing, etc., just the style and way that 100 Thieves plays, I think, will be enough to fumble GENG a little bit the first time. Which means we have the black and gold matchup. GENG versus Heretics. Oh, listen, Woot's scary, but so is Texture, right? Make sure he gets his spicy pork, you know, for lunch that day. Make sure he's in the zone. And I think listen, if Heretics makes it all the way, I mean, what a dream, by the way. As crazy as Woot is, right? Having to go through with that. So, GENG here for sure. GENG here for sure. And then EDG versus Fnatic. Chat. I'm sorry, EMEA, but it's happening. This is where it all ends. You sent 3 teams to the playoffs, and you're going to be the first to get everyone eliminated from your region. All right, EDG ain't giving up this fast. EDG's not giving up this fast in front of a home crowd. EDG is going to play with fire. They are going to do everything in their absolute DNA to win this match. There's just no way. There's just no way. I'm also, just so we're very clear, you know, if you saw my entire video on the power rankings, not just the result, I'm just not that sold on Fnatic like being back. But that's it. And then it's PaperX 100 Thieves and GENG EDG. Oh, this would, dude, 100 out of all the teams too, right? Like, it's not just any America's team. 100 Thieves. Just think about that brand. 100 Thieves, the clout brand. Now you got Boostio just trash talking everybody versus 3 like Asian teams, 2 Pacific, 1 China. What a story. What a bracket, chat. I am cooking. I mean, this is the script right here. So, PaperX versus 100 Thieves. Oh, I messed up. But I actually believe in all my picks so far. But I messed up big. Oh. No, but it's a best of 3, so PaperX wins this. It's a best of 3, so PaperX wins this. PaperX wins this. It's a best of 3. There's my hard-hitting analysis. PaperX wins the best of 3. 100 Thieves, you know, they're going to be biding their time for the rematch because you always win the rematch and then it'll be a best of 5, right? They're going to go down. They're just waiting for the day that they get back to the grand final. In the meantime, GENG versus EDG. GENG becomes the ultimate villain, basically just getting banned in Shanghai, not able to ever return. And they're going to take down EDG. GENG will just be the ultimate downfall of all of China's Riot Games teams in 2024. GENG's going to win. And then 100 Thieves are going to be like, dude, we can't wait to get the rematch against PaperX because we always win the rematch and it's a best of 5 and PaperX just doesn't win international best of 5s. And GENG's going to be like, Nah, not happening. You know what? We've been here. We're not losing it again. Not to another America's team. Not to another America's team with black and red as their logo. That's crazy. And guess what, chat? Does it even matter who wins the grand final? It doesn't. Because Pacific's gonna... There's just no possible... Pacific just can't... It's just not possible. But I'm gonna pick GENG. Gonna do it. And this is where everyone in the YouTube comments, you all start saying again, oh, I knew it, he hates PaperX, he's the #1 PaperX hater. And it's like, I don't know, maybe I could just be a GENG believer. I know it's an insane thought to have, but it could be. Okay, but here's the real part. All right, you guys want to talk about like COPIUM? I think this is probably the biggest COPIUM, but it's a rematch. And I don't think GENG, like, dude, I don't think GENG is gonna, like, I don't think best of 5 is necessarily a hard nerf to GENG, especially now that they've experienced it and they've talked about how they've really identified what they want to work on. I mean, who knows if it's the right way or not. But this is probably my biggest COPIUM out of all of these. This is probably the biggest COP. Well, I guess maybe this is the biggest COP. Probably, actually. GENG beating PaperX. But overall, I mean, listen, the thing is like, I could go back. I'm looking back at the entire bracket, right? And, I mean, sorry, G2. But other than PaperX G2, well, I guess an AD... Other than these 2 first-round matches, I don't know. Like, every one of them, if you asked me on another day, I'd probably sit there being like, like, I don't know. Right? Everything else seems like it'd be a tough call. Or at the very least, like it's matches where I could always see the other side, right? I think you could always see both sides. Like there would be reason for both sides. So, which again, I think that just goes to prove that it should be an exciting tournament. And so far, that logic has held true for the Swiss stage. So, we'll see. But chat, the script has been written. My script that is always correct. If you couldn't tell. It's written. EMA sending 3 teams just to not have a single one in the top 4. All right, we're gonna have an all Pacific. The best part is I'm gonna put this online. I'm just gonna send it out into the ether that is the internet, and then I'm gone. I'm just gone for a week. We'll be back. I'm gonna return All right, I'm going to return on June 7th, chat. The watch parties will return on June 7th. And these are the matches we're going to watch. And it's just going to be an absolute banger of a day. That's all I'm going to say. All right, that's all it's going to be. Obviously, listen, take it as you will. Let me know where you think I went wrong. Chat's already busy letting me know that I'm wrong in like so many levels of this pick'em. But hey, if you think I'm wrong, let me know which matches you think are coming up down in the comments below. And of course, as always, if you've enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel and leave a like and comment on the video as well. You guys have been so supportive with the views and the subs as well. So thank you very much. But just saying it again, no, I'm not going to say it. I've already said it enough. No reason to repeat the truth. That's going to be it. I'll see you guys next time.